we learned the Sechazah over we learned last week. We learned to Issa Ribbis applies whether the the borrower is a poor person, or the interest really affects him, or even someone who is a Ashir. He also, there's an Isser to take interest from an Ashir. And there are many Lavin and Azharis that the Torah gives, not only for the Malva to lend with interest, but on the Loiva to give interest. This is very different than what we find other dinim mamanis, that, like, for example, if someone wants to allow people to steal his things, take his things, he's allowed. If a person wants to let people damage his possessions, he could do that. However, in this case, we don't say the person's allowed to allow himself to give interest. Ribbis, the Torah says you're not allowed to do it. You don't have reshus to do it. The Torah doesn't allow it. Even though seemingly mitzadini mamanis, there shouldn't be an issue. But the Torah says the sash lechicha means like sita neshel chicha, meaning not only you should not take ribbis from your brother, but lesashich lechicha, don't give neshech lechicha, don't give. I mean, the loiva also is not allowed to give. And even if it's not a shava pruta, even if it's not the value of a pruta, it's such a minimal amount, there's also an issa ribbis. Now, anyone who does this on purpose, he's malva beribis, he's ki'ilu kaifer belakei Yisrael, in Yitzias Mitzrayim, ve'einei kam b'tchiyas amesim, he doesn't get up by tchiyas amesim. Chman al. And even in Olam Haza, his lechasim only deteriorate from this. Furthermore, we learned that it's also to go in between the leiv and the malva. Anyone who's in between, who helped out or instructed where you can borrow with ribbis or where you can lend with ribbis, he's over and lifnei iver l'sita michshol. But it's important to point out that the issa lifnei iver, you're only over if the person wouldn't have done it without him. He enabled the person to do the ribbis. They wouldn't have known where to go and how to do it. You helped them do it. So then there's an issa even if neither. If the person would have done it anyways, could have done it anyways without your help, so there's no issa min ha'toyre v'lefniver, but there's an issa midrabanan midivei seifrim because you're machzik yidei avaveda. You're helping avaveda. You're supporting avaveda. So there's still an issue of midrabanan. Now, anyone who becomes an aid between them, an arev, a guarantor, or the cipher, they are much more intrinsically connected to the transaction than someone who just gave a maramokim. He just told you, yeah, you can go over there, you can do this. Helped with a connection. Someone who actually made the transaction, they were guarantor, they wrote the transaction up, or they were an aid on it, that by them it's not just an isser. It's an isser of a loisis ashal Torah, of loisis siman al neshech. And even if they would have done it with a different aid, a different arev, a different cipher, without you, it's still an isser min ha-Torah of ribbis, because these individuals are part and parcel of the actual transaction. Now, we learned that the general idea of ribbis is that someone takes from his friend money in order to delay payment. That is the ribbis min ha-Torah. And even if when the loan happened originally, no ribbis was made up, but then when the malva comes to the loiv and says, time is up, I need my money back, and he gives him money, he gives him something in order to get extra time. I need another week, I'll give you some extra money. I need another 2 weeks, here's more money. I'll pay you extra. Even though it was not Shas, the original halva was made up, it's still an Issa of Ribbis, Minat Torah. Now, we spoke to any Ribbis. Any Ribbis, Mechila doesn't help. Even if the Loiva says, I'm giving it to him as a matana. I'm giving it as a matana. I'm moichel him. I'm giving it as a matana. It's usher for him to give and for the other one, the malva, to take. Why? L'choyle, he was moichel on it. The answer to that is simple. Every case of Ribbis is mechila. Every single case when people make up a deal, an interest loan based loan, it's a mechila. The person is saying, I'm willing to do it, I'm meichel on my money, because I want a loan. And still no, the Torah was not meichel in it. And the Torah said it's aser. However, one thing, if l'payel, the person took the ribbis, if you're meichel, the mechila helps. Even ribbis shel Torah. It's a very interesting halacha. Even though it's an issur to take ribbis, but once the malva took the ribbis from the loiva, so api halacha he has to return it. However, if he is moichel, now the loiva says I'm moichel the money, he doesn't have to give it back to me. Mechila will now help. So the mechila doesn't help to allow ribbis to happen. You're not allowed to take ribbis. It's also to take ribbis. Mechila doesn't work. The Torah didn't allow it. But once you did it, you took it, now it already happened. Mechila helps to keep it by the malva that he can keep the money. The interesting chiddush over here is even lots of the shemayim, you don't have to take to give it back. The malva does not have to give it back, even lots of the shemayim, if the loiva is meichel on the money. Further, we learned that there is ribbis with melacha. This person people have to be careful about this. If someone says to someone, "Asay imi melacha kala," do for me light work today. I need to do some work. I need some work today urgently, and I'll pay for you another day. I'll do back work for you, but even harder work. A melacha kveda. Or he says, "Asay imi yom kasa," do for me work now on a short day, on a winter day. I'll pay you back. I'll do for you work on a summer day. I'll work for you then. Right now, I need an emergency. I need work. So this is also a problem at Ribbis because you're giving him a longer day for a shorter day, or you're giving him heavier work for lighter work. That's a problem. Now, in Siv Zayin, we're going to learn like this. Yesh ribis mugdames, v'yesh ribis mucheres. There's early ribis and late ribis. We're going to learn what this means. V'shteihen asuris divrei both ribis mugdames and ribis mucheres also midrabanan. L'chatchila l'zeh litim v'l'zeh l'kabel. L'chatchila, you're not allowed to give such a ribis, and you're not allowed to take such a ribis. Avalum avar v'natal until l'has v'atzishnei. If you did take, even though there was no mechila, you don't have to give back, because these two isurim are only These are Ribbis Mugdemis, Ribbis Murcheres are midrabanan, and especially these. Not only it's the rabbanon, but these cases of Ribbis Mugdemis, Ribbis Murcheres, if you took it, you're not allowed to. You don't have to gain it tzarich lahakser. Ketzad nosam einav lulveis mimenu u'meshagel doirin b'shul sheyil yalvehu zuhi ribas mukdemis. Someone wanted to borrow from someone, so he knew he's going to come and ask him. So he sends him a gift before he asks for a loan to warm him up. He should lend him. That's called ribas mukdemis. Lavim menu. What's the case of ribas mucheres? Lavim menu v'hichseloi ma'isav. If he borrowed from him and he returned his money, after he finished the loan and he paid it back up, he sends him a gift. Thank you. Thank you for lending me money. He never made up he's going to send him anything. He sends him a gift to his house. He sends him a tray of chocolate from Old Nuts. It's a problem. Ribbis mucheres. So l'chatchila you're not allowed to give. But once he gave it, it's not a problem. Once he had it and he got it, the package is okay. Mutter. This person would always was accustomed to send this malva gifts from time to time. He would send them a gift before a holiday, before something, he would send them a gift. So then, he can still give him a gift, even though he's going to ask him for a halva, because he's not doing it for that kavanah. He's doing it because he always sends him a gift. Now, there is a matirin, a shita, which is mekel, in the shoinim. There is a shita which is mekel, that you can give something small to the malva if it's something small and you don't say it's for the loan. Even though you have in mind you're giving it for the loan, some say it's okay. Even though you have in mind you're giving this as a thank you for the halva, or you're giving this before, and or he should give you the halva, but it's something small, and you also don't tell him. Paper from last week. And you also don't say to him clearly that you're doing this for the halva. Even if you normally wouldn't send this individual a gift, and now you send them a gift, this sheet in Yishayim holds that you are allowed to give a small gift, and you don't specify it for the loan, because it's not a maras ayin of ribbis here, because there are many times people do that. It's a normal thing to send such gifts to people. So therefore, it's not nicker to ribbis. According to this daya, we're learning in Siv Zayin in the middle. According to the sheet, it's all about maris ayin. So if I say clearly, either myself or for my shliach, I let the person know I'm sending this to you because I want to. I'm hoping I'm able to get a loan from you. or because I want to thank you for hava in the past that you already gave me, which is Ribbis Mecheres. That's a problem. Or even if you don't say anything, but you give him a matana maruba, normally people don't give a matana maruba. So obviously it's nicker without even specifying it. The matana itself cries out and says, "Is machriz, I'm here for a ribbis purpose." So that's a problem. However, other in cases where it's a matana mu'atis and you're not mafadish, so there's no matas ayin, because this is a normal thing for people to send gifts to each other. It's not something abnormal. And in this case, even though you have kavana l'shem to help you for the loan, according to the Eish Matinim, this is not a problem. Now, further he goes on, "Vafilim hoyez a rogel litem matana meruba, koidem l'chein, eile litna l'fnei alva, v'achar paroin b'samach l'ktzas." Filo b'stam. Just clarifies, even the shita which is matter, is not matter that this give a matana meruba, like we said earlier, even in a case where you normally gave a matana meruba. You were someone who gave matanas merubas to this individual. But in this situation, don't give it before the hava or after the payment, right close by the time when you pay back. Why? Even if you're not mefarish, mishayesh lakoil appears to matana meruba. People see, people talk about he gave him a big gift. But also mishamaris ayin shenidus kiribus. I will muflik harbe achi piroyin in this kiribus shamaris afilu matana meruba. However, the Yesh Matirim will say, all based on the Manas Ayin Shita, and even if it's far after the Hava, even Matam Ruba is okay, because it's not Nicker that has a connection to the loan. And even though he never gives this individual any matanis, and he's miskaven, so it's a matana meruba. He never gives this individual any matanis. He's miskaven to do it for to thank him for it. However, rak shenoisenle bestam ve'enim mefarish le'it b'shul the halva, and you did it muflag after the piroyin. It wasn't right after the piroyin. It's mutter lefi svarazu. Lefi this whole yesh matirin that was most of the sif we were learning was a yesh matirin. Holds that we go everything I'm out of sight. So if I have a way to interpret this as not being toivas connected with the hava, it's not an issue. The Alter Rebbe paskins yesh lahachmir la'atzmoi svara harishoina. We should be machmer. A person should be machmer le'atzmai for himself, like the svara harishoina. Meaning, even though you're giving him a matana stam, it's a problem. Unless you always gave this person matanas. Now, I just point out the lashon of the Alter Rebbe is, and you have to be medactic in the Paiskim, yesh lahachmir la'atzmoi. This means that we're not saying that there's a shita, it's a legitimate shita, and if someone else is relying on that opinion, you don't have to go and scream and yell at him, you went over din, ribbis. You don't have to tell him anything. This is not something that you may have a chiyuv machon. This is something for yourself. We're letting you know that you should use lahachma la'atzma. You should be careful, concerned for the other shita, not like this day. But if people are doing this, can't say that they're doing something wrong. They have a yesh mash yismtim. Further clarifies that after svara achreina lahata matana ma'etish and yidu ala koil. V'af hayoyde in yidei shalahoy noisin lebeloy alva. Matana etes, the Svara Achreina Yesh Matirim says okay, but you give him matana etes. because it's not really. There's no, like we said earlier, it has no coil and piercing on matana matis. And even if someone does know about it, af hayoida, and he you know, he doesn't really know. Maybe he would have given him regardless of because it's a matana mu'etis. Avoleilach b'shlichusay elasisa is a dover kol ma shidua la koil shalei oisa klaba avar is a matana maruba. If you went and did a shlichus for him, and went somewhere and did something for this malva, or you did something for him that everyone would know that you would never have done this if not for the hava, even though we're not going to classify the shlichus as a matana maruba, this has the din of a matana maruba. Even though it's not factually a matana maruba, but remember, matana maruba is not exelis hakosav. The idea behind matana maruba is that it's nicker, it has a piercing to itself. If you're doing something which has a piercing to itself, even though it's not a matana maruba, it's the same idea as a matana maruba, and it's usher, even according to the Yesh Matinim. Bein lefnei halva, which we call Ribbis mugdames, mein la'achar piroyim b'samach leiktzas. Now, this is all called, and this up until now in the Sif, we learned, it's a long Sif, we learned that there's something called Ribbis mugdames, it was mucheres, which is all Isurim midrabanan, not min HaTorah, which is that before the halva, you sent him a gift. You know, you sent him a gift, a large gift, or you sent him something. You know, I'm hoping I'm going to get a loan from you. You order him a nice platter, a fruit platter, something, and then you come to him a day or two later and you say, "I need a halva." That's called Ribbis mukdamis. It's also midrabanan. And the Ribbis mecheres is. We had here a story which might be under the category of Ribbis mecheres. We had a story the other week. Someone said that person paid him back the loan, and he said that, you know, you were so good, you didn't ask me for the loan back, and he gave him an extra, I don't know what it was, $10,000-$15,000, maybe more. He gave him a lot of money. Years later, the loiva. The loiva borrowed $5,000, and he didn't have the money to pay back, but he didn't tell anything to the malva. He didn't tell anything, and the malva didn't want to embarrass him. So when he saw him, and he saw that he was uncomfortable, he went to the other side of the street. So the loiva shouldn't be embarrassed. And he never said anything to him. Went up, so I think it was a few years, he said bye. 15, 20 years. 15, 20 years later. 15, 20 years later, maybe we could tie it such a long time after the Piray and Achav was right. And he met him somewhere and he told him, you know, come to me, come, I want to pay you back. He happened to meet him somewhere, the street. So he came to his house. He said, because you always avoided me and crossed the street and didn't embarrass me, pressure me, I'm going to give you, he gave him back a lot more money. It was maybe 25,000. It was originally a $5,000 loan, so you get 25,000. So this we could discuss, is this considered Ribbis mecheres? Because Ribbis mecheres is that after you paid up the chayv, I give you something as a payment in schar for your waiting all this time. But you didn't get the money, so I give you extra back. So how do we classify this? Because the word mecheres. Mecheres, yeah, delayed. Yeah, a delayed payment of Ribbis. These are all awesome midrabanan. Anything that was not made up by the shas, the transaction, it's Ribbis midrabanan. And by the way, the halacha is l'chatchila you can't take it, but once you took it, you don't have to give it back. Not even lotzes day shemayim. You don't have to give back the money. So once the money, let's say he was unaware, this individual wasn't aware that there was any shayla in it.
Mean the Malva was not aware?
Yes, he took this money back, the 25,000. Right. He didn't have any idea that this maybe could be Ribbis mecheres. Once he took the money, he has no chiyuv to give it back. Even if someone would come and tell him, You know what that really was, Ribbis Mecheres, you shouldn't have taken it. Hayoy said it's only in Issa Rabbanan, Mitzad, Issa Rabbanan, Ribbis Mecheres. This case, there's no chiv to give it back at all, and even I feel lots as they shemayim, he doesn't have to give it back. You can keep it. It's not an issue. It's not really this.
That would be the only the 20,000 using the Ribbis example.
Right. Yeah. It's a five original 1,000. He's chayiv to pay. It's a mitzvah not Torah. It's a chiv to pay. We have to remember that the chiv to pay back the malva. People think a chiv to pay back. Of a chayiv, you have to pay back the chayiv. You can't go around giving money. The Sefer Chassidim says, you can't go around giving tzedakah, donating a nair to the shul, the menorah to the shul, like a candelabra. He has some examples there of giving around money, donations, when you owe people money. If you owe someone money, you have to first pay up your chayiv, and then you can give tzedakah. The piriyai chayiv is more important than you're giving tzedakah. You have to pay up before you go around giving out, making mishabeirach some things, and then people see your name on donations and different causes when you owe money. Huh?
I mean, could you pay?
I know of a sticky situation where there are two very very big philanthropists. They were supporting a certain koilel in Eretz Yisrael. They're both supporting it, and one had lent the other one, gave him a private loan to the other gvir, and God, with a heter iska and everything, was going to make back money, and I'm not sure the exact details of it. Tremendous amount of money, and Lamaisa came the time he wasn't paying up. He says doesn't have, he can't, not now. Eventually, he's going to make more money on the investment that he borrowed it for, and he wasn't paying it back. But Lamaisa, he was still supporting that koilel that this other one was also supporting. They're both together supporting the koilel. So now, this gvir who was owed money, tying it to the koilel, that you can't take money from him. He owes me money. Let him pay back the choy what he owes me. You can't take money, and he was like giving the koilel money, so it was a very catch-22. They're very stuck. They needed the money, but meanwhile, this one was also a big patron, and maybe he was even more. And he was telling them, "Don't take money because
just take the best. Can't tell him. Just take the guy to best.
it wasn't at that stage yet.
And you can't tell the girl anything. Right?
It was. They were still like on good. He was hoping he would get the money back. I don't know.
Maybe the guy has a cheshbon.
Cook. The problem was that the people in the koilel were like they couldn't really go to. It wasn't feel like couldn't really go to the Torah because they wanted him to be on the good side. They need to keep everyone good. So
they don't have. It's not their problem to get involved in people's business.
True, but this person was going to be upset with them. Maybe he would stop his funding because you're I'm giving you so much money I'm giving you $1 million a year, and you're not. And meanwhile, you look at what you do to me.
It's not what you do. It's not me. It's a little business.
Eventually I heard that Lamaisa there was an issue for a while. Then this koilel Eretz Yisrael, and then I heard that he allowed them he allowed them because they couldn't function, whatever it was. He allowed them to take the money. It's a good question, these situations.
They're doling out money that belongs to their parents, not necessarily theirs. But the parents did them. You shouldn't say give a donation every Friday. It's a donation. Money by money.
Oh. You say it's not their money.
Yes. There's a lot of communism.
We have a point.
Yes, they could get involved in politics. Their job is to sit and learn.
I saw interesting din today in Hilchos Taka. This Hilchos Ribbis. When Hilchos Taka, I saw a din that someone wants says B'chlal Ayivazvez Yoiser Mechaimish. Should get more than a fifth. So it says that. However, this is all kol yimei chayav, while he's alive. But koydem moisei, that doesn't apply. He's allowed to give everything away to tzedakah, and he doesn't have to be concerned with the yarshim. he doesn't have a chiyuv to give the leave for the yashim. If he wants, this chiyuv or ayivazviz, the isser, is only about his own money, that he can't be throw around his money and be mashlach atzmal atzibur. He has to be careful with his money. But la'achrim I say it's not his cheshbon what's going to be with the yashim. It's not his achrayis. If he wants to decide, I'm not saying this is Eita Toiva, people should help their children, but Eita Toiva, that he wants to just give all his money, breathe all his money to a yeshiva, whatever it is, he could do it, and there's no isser of ayivaz in the French. Which agav, we know what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, and there are other smuchim for this idea, where the Alter Rebbe says that you're allowed to give more if you're giving the money l'shem kapara savoinus. If you want kapara for your avedis, you give me more stuff. You could do it. Why? So you give an example that if refuas haguf, the person needed to heal himself, he had to go to doctors, he wasn't well. There's no klal of that he only can't give more than a chaimish. For your life, you can give as much as you want to save yourself. So same thing, that just like begashmius refuah. If a person wants his nefesh, he should have kapara, he should have a haba, he should have a copy the ebesh, he should have a nefesh, have kapara. He's allowed to also give more than that. The chaimish, that halacha, doesn't apply in those cases. Like the lashon al Rebbe is the loigara refuas nefesh mi refuas haguf. The loigara, it's not worse. It's not worse.
I've heard Liz Sharabon talk this time.
Yeah, you've heard them quoting it. You're saying they need it. They need it when they're collecting the sheshivas. Suddenly, they found the Balatanya in this one. It's interesting. Also, the art school Gemara. So they have one time where they bring from the Alter Rebbe. I don't know if it's the only time, but there is one time that I bring the Alter Rebbe by the sugi of like Boimer and Daf Lamed Gimel and Shabbos. That's the Remez.
Twice. Start with those by
Yeah. By the third day, yeah.
About the true.
About what?
Help with true. The day and what to say.
Mm.
The one who. Right.
So it brings over there the story about the Maya. He was in the cave for so many years. So the Alter Rebbe has in Tanya where he writes that when you get a Sakoidish, he writes that it couldn't be that what was Ashvi learning so much with it. So it can't be that he was learning Soidus HaTorah for so long, because the Zoyar and the Tikkunim and these Svarim were taking just a few months to finish learning. So obviously, most of the time, he was learning what's called Galia the Torah, Nigla Torah, Mishnayis. And they had more Mishnayis they had then that we don't have, but they had a lot of Mishnayis, and that's what he was busy chazing with his son Abelazar, he was busy learning. That's what Alter Rebbe brings out in this together. So over there in the art school, that Gemara, make sure to bring down the Tanya that Shemichai wasn't learning the Saidus the whole time. He was learning, he was sitting and learning Nigla. Let's just finish off the sip over here.
I'll tell you what for you, right?
No,
it wasn't.
Alter Rebbe.
Alter Rebbe is a long time.
Right. In the times of the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Rebbe became coined the first Rebbe as being the Alter Rebbe, and the middle Rebbe became known as the Mittel Rebbe, and then there was the Rebbe.
Yeah.
That was the third Rebbe. During that time, they called the third Rebbe. Tzemach Tzedek was not called the Tzemach Tzedek during his lifetime. We all call him by the name of Svarim Tzemach Tzedek. He was never known by Tzemach Tzedek. Why? Because his Svarim were not published in his lifetime. We call him Tzemach Tzedek because his Svarim were given by the Matfisim or the family, called the name of his Svarim Tzemach Tzedek because his name was Menachem Mendel. Menachem Mendel and Tzemach Tzedek are the same gematria. Tzemach is Menachem and Mendel is Tzedek. So name Tzemach Tzedek. So the Maisa, they gave that name to the Svarim. So he became known from later generations by his Svarim called Tzemach Tzedek. In his lifetime, no one ever heard of this name Tzemach Tzedek referring to him. He was known as the Rebbe in his lifetime. The Rebbe Gezak, the Rebbe Gehalten, the Rebbe Zak. And his father-in-law, which is also his uncle, was known as the Mittel Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe was the Erste Rebbe. Let's just finish the thing. B'shas piroyin l'dvihaka osita zeh l'zav l'kav fil davar muat yoyser michayvay. When b'shas you're paying up, according to all shittas, it's also to give or to accept even a small amount. Bein memois, bein devanach, whether it's money or something else, or filo b'stam. Filo miskaven klabel shul avo. Afilu rogo little matonis koydem lochem. Shanois v'shas piroyin yoysim mechavin irikidibis. Anything which is given the shas, the payment, seems like it is ribbis.
Rabbi, I have a question. This week, and I learned earlier in the shir of Ben Ish Chai, second year, this month, this parasha is talking about ribbis. Now, if somebody's father has credit, and he's buying a house. He's buying it on his father's name because he has no credit. Now he's paying the bank ribbis. He's paying the interest. Is that permitted? Because the father is the one who's getting the ribbis.
Why is the father? Why is the father getting the ribbis?
It's his name. It's on his name.
You have to qualify the money.
I've learned that Rabbi Milton said the father and the son should make a contract like he's renting the place to him. Otherwise, it's considered a ribbis. When he's paying the bank the interest, it's like his father, because his father is the one, it's on his name.
Yeah, I hear. It's something I didn't look into it, and if a Rav said, you should follow whatever the Rav said. It's just, I have to understand it to wrap my mind around it exactly what's happening, because Lamaise, he's paying back to the bank.
Yeah, but it's not his name. It's on his father's name.
Good, so it's on his father's name. So he's paying back his father's. He's paying back his father's debt for him. Let's say he's paying back his father's debt. He's being a nice guy. He's paying back his father's debt to the bank.
Yeah, but
why is that considered like you paid the father money?
But giving ribbis to the bank. So it's like you're giving it to his father.
I hear the svara, but on the other hand, you're not giving it to him directly.
Of course not, but it's considered ribbis.
Right. I hear.
I learned Rabbi Milstein. It's considered ribbis. The father has to make.
So you have to make some sort of heta ifka.
If he has to make a contract with the son that he's renting it to him, then it's not considered ribbis anymore. His other thing also was a credit card. You take your father's credit card and you use it, and you're paying off the credit card with the ribbis. It's like you're giving the ribbis to your father. But this is what I learned.
I hear.
Ribbis is a very strange thing. We have to be very careful.
Right. Yeah. Complicated halachas.
Shkoyach, thank you.
And Shkoyach for joining us as your mamish from Tmidin Kesidron. Always a mishtatev kavur in the shiurim all the years. It's a pleasure having you.
I used to come in person before COVID.
Yeah, I remember. We used to have you here all the time.
But now we have
COVID, the Zoom spoiled us. Everything should be healthy. Everyone should be good.
Amen.
I see we have a lot of other people who joined us for the shiurim. Everyone should be healthy and good to see everyone. And we should, this Shabbos, it's Chamisha Asa B'Av.
Yeah.
Chamisha Asa B'Av, which is the Aliyah after the great Yerida of Tisha B'Av. After such a great Yerida, this Tezva B'Av is a Aliyah out of the darkness.
Nice.
And the Iker is we should see the Aliyah of the whole Golas, all these Yeridas, terrible Choshech, Hagalas, all the tsaras and suffering that Klal Yisrael have all around the world. And we're seeing like a Seh, Zura, around Shivim Ze'evim, we see today, Befrat in the world today, the Eden, everywhere they go, there's Shivim Ze'evim. We want to tear apart the keves, the kivsa, the kivsa achas. You didn't have to say stark. And we'll let Hashem see the Eibishter's Ava, the Klal Yisrael, the Goloi. We'll show very soon this Ava.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I told them.
Good enough.